Hi, we're going to create an ASP page using Visual Studio. We're going to add a Razor page to this project, modify the menu bar, and add an image to one of the pages. All right, to start, I'm in Visual Studio 2019, Community Edition. Any way you want, create a new project. Variety of things pops up. The one I want is already at the top, but to get there, you're going to pick C#, you're going to pick all platforms, and you're going to pick web. From there, the choice that you want is ASPNet Core Web Application. Select it and hit Next. Give it a name and a location. Doesn't matter where you put it, as long as you know where it is. It'll default to the source folder. When it creates, this takes a moment to launch. Oh, sorry, I'm a second ahead of myself. You now have several choices. Empty is a blank one. I do not recommend that at all. API allows you to create a web service. Web application is a simple web page. MVC is best if you're connecting to databases. In Angular, React, or if you're using those particular frameworks. We're just going to create a simple web application. Leave these alone for now. All of these will play with in a future date. Hit create. This will take a moment depending on the speed of your system and the speed of your drives. You know it's done because down here it will say restored. Just to make sure that it works, hit the start button to run it. That's the IIS Express here, Internet Information Services. It'll fire up in a default browser. And by default, you should have a couple pages, home page and a privacy page that links. Video demo, of course, takes you home. I'm going to stop out of there. If you want to run on a different browser, you can just pick a browser to run with. That way you can see what it works in. Open up Solution Explorer. You'll see Pages folder. Here are the two pages that are there, error CSHTML, index.html. CSHTML stands for C# HTML. Double click and open up. What I've got here is some page directives, and we'll play with this later in the term. I now have the content of this page, and it says welcome, using some bootstrappy classes, and it has a paragraph. You can have as much stuff here as you want. Whatever is on this page will be displayed for index. Now, since it's a CSHTML page, it is linked to this page, and that's by default. The layout page contains the global setup and format for your web page. So down here we've got @renderBody, and @renderBody demonstrate or shows the stuff that's in whichever page you're loading. So when you link to privacy, the privacy page will be displayed here. When you link to index, the index page will be here. Whatever's on layout is on every page. So you'll see this is where your CSS lives. This is where your title is. The title comes from here. View data title equal home page. Display the associative array for view data with title. Here I have my menu bars. Again, it's bootstrappy, so it's mobile first. Again, anything that's on this page will appear on every page. And if I put something here on the index page, I run this thing, my index page will be edited. You'll notice it loads up on a port. Don't worry about that port at this moment. So creating my leak trials on both pages because that's in layouts. And you see on home page it says video demo. Beautiful. The layout page is controlled for you by this view start. This is a configuration, and we see that the layout page is layout. That's a default. That'll become important here in a minute. So now I'm going to add a new page. I'm going to add a new page here by right-clicking pages, add Razor page. If Razor page does not appear there, you can also go down to new item and find Razor page. Razor is just ASP's way of running this CSHTML. So I click Razor page. I've got three choices. Razor Page is a plain old vanilla website that interacts with CS or C#. Entity Framework and Entity Framework CRUD allow you to read and write to databases. We're going to do a simple Razor Page for now. And add, give it a name. So I'm going to put monster. This layout page here is checked on, but you see how it says leave empty if it's set in a view start file? It is. If you wanted to use a different page, you could hit the browse and go find another layout page. ASP will allow you to have more than one layout page if desired. So I'm just going to keep add, hit here. It'll take a moment to install. Again, this depends on the speed of your box, speed of your internet, and how fast your disk writes. All right. When launched, it opens up both files for that page. So monster.cshtml.cs, this is the code behind. You put a lot of functionality here. The HTML page is where you put your HTML. Everywhere. As much HTML content as you want. As you see, it's just plain old vanilla HTML. You have the capability of adding in ASP stuff, but for now, we're just keeping it simple. All right, so now I need to run this. And I run it. We'll see that monster is not there, but if you look closely at the URL, this is called routing. I can route to it. When I put in the known URL to it, which is monster, it takes me to that particular page. Clearly, we don't want people to type URL. So I'm going to stop this, stop here, and I'm going to go back to my layout page. And I pointed out where the menu bar is. See how it's set up. Since it's bootstrappy, it creates a nav item, and it's got some choices that you can play with. What's important is right here. ASP page equals / name of the page. So I'm going to create one for monsters. I'm going to copy any of them, put it in where I want, and I'll create a link. And I'll change the / link here. This is, again, that's called a routing. With this item in there now, when I rerun this, monsters is now up here in my menu bar. Click on it and it works. So the layout page, again, is where you want something copied to every page in your site. It's like a template. This will display whatever's in the CS/HTML file. You can change anything else here you want. If you want to mess with CSS, you see that's in ~CSS, site.css. Let's find it over here in Solution Explorer. That's under www roots in CSS. So feel free to CSS to your heart's content. Let's now add a picture. Again, back in Solution Explorer, anything you want visible throughout the entire website, you can put in www roots. If you've built web pages before, websites before, you know that every website has its own folder. And the top end of that folder is called www roots. So I'm going to add an images folder. So I've got www root, right click, add a new folder, call it whatever you want. We call it images. And then to put something here, you just have to find your picture and move it there. It's that simple. It's now saved onto disk in the project folder and it's accessible. So I've got my beautiful picture of Cookie Monster here. Thank you, Sesame Street. I'm going to go back to my monster page. Monsters can be scary. IMG, SRC equal. Now this is awesome because we're in this great IDE. The images folder is now there. Select just by using my tab and my enter. Add your alt and title tags. Close the image tag. It goes back to the old XHTML slashes. I'm not entirely sure why. Save it. Run it. Now you notice every time Brave fires up, I close this original tab. You don't have to. It's just me. You can also leave this open, and it should be dynamic. Now it didn't work here. Refresh. There he is. Refresh. Monsters. Woohoo! Cookie Monster. Scary. All right, so you know how to create an ASP site. You know how to add a Razor page to your project. You know how to add images. You know where the CSS lives. You want to go change it. You're good to go. Good luck to you guys.